Fraught, fraught, meaning causing or having extreme worry or anxiety. Causing or having extreme worry or anxiety. The atmosphere in the office is rather fraught. The atmosphere in the office is rather fraught. Allure, allure, meaning the quality of being attractive, interesting, or exciting. The quality of being attractive, interesting, or exciting. The allure of the moonlit swimming pool proved too much for him. The allure of the moonlit swimming pool proved too much for him. Irrelevance, irrelevance, meaning the fact that something is not related to what is being discussed or considered and therefore not important, or an example of this. The fact that something is not related to what is being discussed or considered and therefore not important, or an example of this. The irrelevance of his answer puzzled the audience. The irrelevance of his answer puzzled the audience. Exacerbate, exacerbate, meaning to make something that is already bad even worse. To make something that is already bad even worse. I don't want to exacerbate the situation. I don't want to exacerbate the situation. Potent, potent, meaning very powerful, forceful, or effective. Very powerful, forceful, or effective. Body language is a potent form of non-verbal communication. Body language is a potent form of non-verbal communication. Intrinsic, intrinsic, meaning being an extremely important and basic characteristic of a person or thing. Being an extremely important and basic characteristic of a person or thing. Small local shops are intrinsic to the town's character. Small local shops are intrinsic to the town's character. Unwind, unwind, meaning to relax and allow your mind to be free from worry after a period of work or some other activity that has made you worried. To relax and allow your mind to be free from worry after a period of work or some other activity that has made you worried. After a hard day's work, it's good to unwind. After a hard day's work, it's good to unwind. Essence, essence, meaning the basic or most important idea or quality of something. The basic or most important idea or quality of something. The essence of his argument was that education should continue throughout life. The essence of his argument was that education should continue throughout life. Preconceived, preconceived, meaning of an idea or an opinion, formed too early, especially without enough thought or knowledge. Of an idea or an opinion, formed too early, especially without enough thought or knowledge. We started from scratch with no preconceived ideas. We started from scratch with no preconceived ideas. Unorthodox. Unorthodox. Meaning different from what is usual or expected in behaviour, ideas, or methods. Different from what is usual or expected in behaviour, ideas, or methods. Her unorthodox views tend to attract controversy. Her unorthodox views tend to attract controversy. Disposable. Disposable. Meaning something that is intended to be thrown away after use. Something that is intended to be thrown away after use. The use of disposable products is considered ecologically unsound. The use of disposable products is considered ecologically unsound. Skeptic. Skeptic. Meaning a person who doubts the truth or value of an idea or belief. A person who doubts the truth or value of an idea or belief. She is a skeptic about the dangers of global warming. She is a skeptic about the dangers of global warming. Clientele. Clientele. Meaning all the customers of a business when they are considered as a group. All the customers of a business when they are considered as a group. The restaurant attracts a young clientele. The restaurant attracts a young clientele. Enhance. Enhance. Meaning to improve the quality, amount, or strength of something. To improve the quality, amount, or strength of something. The company is trying to enhance its cash flow. The company is trying to enhance its cash flow. Stamina. Stamina. Meaning the physical and or mental strength to do something that might be difficult and will take a long time. The physical and or mental strength to do something that might be difficult and will take a long time. He didn't have the stamina to complete the course. He didn't have the stamina to complete the course. Banter. Banter. Meaning conversation that is funny and not serious. Conversation that is funny and not serious. She engages in friendly banter with her customers. She engages in friendly banter with her customers. Upheaval. Upheaval. Meaning a great change, especially causing or involving much difficulty, activity, or trouble. A great change, especially causing or involving much difficulty, activity, or trouble. I can't face the upheaval of moving house again. I can't face the upheaval of moving house again. Dismantle. Dismantle. Meaning, to take a machine apart or to come apart into separate pieces. To take a machine apart or to come apart into separate pieces. I had to dismantle the engine in order to repair it. I had to dismantle the engine in order to repair it. Pioneering. Pioneering. Meaning, using ideas and methods that have never been used before. Using ideas and methods that have never been used before. The school has won awards for its pioneering work with the community. The school has won awards for its pioneering work with the community. Embody. Embody. Meaning, to represent a quality or an idea exactly. To represent a quality or an idea exactly. He seemed to embody good sportsmanship. He seemed to embody good sportsmanship. Perseverance. Perseverance. Meaning, continued effort to do or achieve something, even when this is difficult or takes a long time. Continued effort to do or achieve something, even when this is difficult or takes a long time. After months of disappointment, his perseverance was finally rewarded. After months of disappointment, his perseverance was finally rewarded. Stagger. Stagger. Meaning, to walk or move with difficulty as if you are going to fall. To walk or move with difficulty as if you are going to fall. He managed to stagger home. He managed to stagger home. Barrage. Barrage. Meaning, a great number of complaints, criticisms, or questions suddenly directed at someone. A great number of complaints, criticisms, or questions suddenly directed at someone. The TV station has received a barrage of complaints about the recent news coverage. The TV station has received a barrage of complaints about the recent news coverage. Residue. Residue. Meaning, the part that is left after the main part has gone or been taken away, or a substance that remains after a chemical process such as evaporation. The part that is left after the main part has gone or been taken away, or a substance that remains after a chemical process such as evaporation. There is a green residue at the bottom of the test tube. There is a green residue at the bottom of the test tube. Afoot. Afoot. Meaning, happening or being planned or prepared. Happening or being planned or prepared. There's something afoot here, but I don't know what it is. There's something afoot here, but I don't know what it is. Wary, wary, meaning not completely trusting or certain about something or someone. Not completely trusting or certain about something or someone. She was wary of getting involved with him. She was wary of getting involved with him. Ingenuity, ingenuity, meaning someone's ability to think of clever new ways of doing something. Someone's ability to think of clever new ways of doing something. We are looking for someone with ingenuity and imagination. We are looking for someone with ingenuity and imagination. Baggy, baggy, meaning of clothes, hanging loosely because of being too big or having been stretched. Of clothes, hanging loosely because of being too big or having been stretched. She was wearing jeans and a baggy t-shirt. She was wearing jeans and a baggy t-shirt. Rigorous, rigorous, meaning careful to look at or consider every part of something to make certain it is correct or safe. Careful to look at or consider every part of something to make certain it is correct or safe. The planes have to undergo rigorous safety checks. The planes have to undergo rigorous safety checks. Credentials, credentials, meaning the abilities and experience that make someone suitable for a particular job or activity, or proof of someone's abilities and experience. The abilities and experience that make someone suitable for a particular job or activity, or proof of someone's abilities and experience. All the candidates had excellent academic credentials. All the candidates had excellent academic credentials. Hoard, hoard, meaning to collect large amounts of something and keep it for yourself, often in a secret place. To collect large amounts of something and keep it for yourself, often in a secret place. I like to hoard chocolate underneath my bed. I like to hoard chocolate underneath my bed. Choosy, choosy, meaning difficult to please because you are very exact about what you like. Difficult to please because you are very exact about what you like. She's very choosy about what she eats and drinks. She's very choosy about what she eats and drinks. Friction, friction, meaning disagreement or unfriendliness caused by people having different opinions. Disagreement or unfriendliness caused by people having different opinions. There's a lot of friction between my brother and my mother. There's a lot of friction between my brother and my mother. Transparency. Transparency. Meaning, the quality of being done in an open way without secrets. The quality of being done in an open way without secrets. We want more transparency in government. We want more transparency in government. Replenish. Replenish. Meaning, to fill something up again. To fill something up again. Let me replenish your glass with some more wine. Let me replenish your glass with some more wine. Oscillate. Oscillate. Meaning, if you oscillate between feelings or opinions, you change repeatedly from one to the other. If you oscillate between feelings or opinions, you change repeatedly from one to the other. My emotions oscillate between desperation and hope. My emotions oscillate between desperation and hope. Prerequisite. Prerequisite. Meaning, something that must exist or happen before something else can exist or happen. Something that must exist or happen before something else can exist or happen. A sense of humour is a prerequisite to understanding her work. A sense of humour is a prerequisite to understanding her work. Tendency. Tendency. Meaning, if there is a tendency for something to happen, it is likely to happen, or it often happens. If there is a tendency for something to happen, it is likely to happen, or it often happens. This material has a tendency to shrink when washed. This material has a tendency to shrink when washed. Dilemma. Dilemma. A situation in which a difficult choice has to be made between two different things you could do. A situation in which a difficult choice has to be made between two different things you could do. She was in a dilemma whether to stay at school or get a job. She was in a dilemma whether to stay at school or get a job. Resilience. Resilience. Meaning, the ability to be happy and successful again after something difficult or bad has happened. The ability to be happy and successful again after something difficult or bad has happened. His greatest strengths are his determination and resilience. His greatest strengths are his determination and resilience. Acclaimed. Acclaimed. Meaning, attracting public approval and praise. Attracting public approval and praise. The book has been widely acclaimed by teachers and pupils. The book has been widely acclaimed by teachers and pupils. Emulate. Emulate. Meaning, To copy something achieved by someone else and try to do it as well as they have. To copy something achieved by someone else and try to do it as well as they have. You must work hard to emulate your brother's success. You must work hard to emulate your brother's success. Lucrative. Lucrative. Meaning earning or producing a lot of money. Earning or producing a lot of money. He decided to turn his hobby into a lucrative sideline. He decided to turn his hobby into a lucrative sideline. Counteract. Counteract. Meaning to reduce or remove the effect of something unwanted by producing an opposite effect. To reduce or remove the effect of something unwanted by producing an opposite effect. Drinking a lot of water can counteract the dehydrating effects of hot weather. Drinking a lot of water can counteract the dehydrating effects of hot weather. Inevitable. Inevitable. Meaning certain to happen and unable to be avoided or prevented. Certain to happen and unable to be avoided or prevented. It was inevitable that there would be job losses. It was inevitable that there would be job losses. Expertise. Expertise. Meaning a high level of knowledge or skill. A high level of knowledge or skill. Customers will be impressed by the expertise of our highly trained employees. Customers will be impressed by the expertise of our highly trained employees. Mutual. Mutual. Meaning of two or more people or groups feeling the same emotion or doing the same thing to or for each other. Of two or more people or groups feeling the same emotion or doing the same thing to or for each other. We met each other through a mutual friend. We met each other through a mutual friend. Spectrum. Spectrum. Meaning a range of objects, ideas, or opinions. A range of objects, ideas, or opinions. A wide spectrum of opinion was represented at the meeting. A wide spectrum of opinion was represented at the meeting. Canny. Canny. Meaning thinking quickly and cleverly, especially in business or financial matters. Thinking quickly and cleverly, especially in business or financial matters. He was canny enough to see that they were trying to trap him. He was canny enough to see that they were trying to trap him. Restraint. Restraint. Meaning calm and controlled behaviour. Calm and controlled behaviour. She showed admirable restraint and refused to be provoked. She showed admirable restraint and refused to be provoked. Accordingly, accordingly, meaning in a way that is suitable or right for the situation. In a way that is suitable or right for the situation. When we receive your instructions, we shall act accordingly. When we receive your instructions, we shall act accordingly. Backlog, backlog, meaning a large number of things that you should have done before and must do now. A large number of things that you should have done before and must do now. We are faced with a backlog of orders we can't deal with. We are faced with a backlog of orders we can't deal with. Flounder, flounder, meaning to experience great difficulties or be completely unable to decide what to do or say next. To experience great difficulties or be completely unable to decide what to do or say next. It's such a pity that his career was left to flounder. It's such a pity that his career was left to flounder. Grasp, grasp, meaning to understand something, especially something difficult. To understand something, especially something difficult. I think I managed to grasp the main points of the lecture. I think I managed to grasp the main points of the lecture. Theoretical, theoretical, meaning based on the ideas that relate to a subject, not the practical uses of that subject. Based on the ideas that relate to a subject, not the practical uses of that subject. She has theoretical knowledge of teaching, but no practical experience. She has theoretical knowledge of teaching, but no practical experience. Ironically, ironically, meaning in a way that is interesting, strange, or funny because of being very different from what you would expect. In a way that is interesting, strange, or funny because of being very different from what you would expect. Ironically, his cold got better on the last day of his holiday. Ironically, his cold got better on the last day of his holiday. Fiasco, fiasco, meaning something planned that goes wrong and is a complete failure, usually in an embarrassing way. Something planned that goes wrong and is a complete failure, usually in an embarrassing way. Who do we have to thank for this fiasco? Who do we have to thank for this fiasco? Portray, portray, meaning to represent or describe someone or something in a painting, film, book, or other artistic work. to represent or describe someone or something in a painting, film, book, or other artistic work. He has worked hard in recent months to portray New York in a better light. He has worked hard in recent months to portray New York in a better light. Integral. Integral. Meaning necessary and important as a part of a whole. Necessary and important as a part of a whole. He's an integral part of the team and we can't do without him. He's an integral part of the team and we can't do without him. Amplify. Amplify. Meaning to increase the size or effect of something. To increase the size or effect of something. We must amplify our effort by working much harder. We must amplify our effort by working much harder. Straightforward. Straightforward. Meaning easy to understand or simple. Easy to understand or simple. The instructions seem fairly straightforward. The instructions seem fairly straightforward. Deterrent. Deterrent. Meaning a thing that discourages or is intended to discourage someone from doing something. A thing that discourages or is intended to discourage someone from doing something. Hopefully, his punishment will act as a deterrent to others. Hopefully, his punishment will act as a deterrent to others. Sneaky. Sneaky. Meaning doing things in a secret and unfair way. Doing things in a secret and unfair way. His sneaky behaviour aroused our suspicion. His sneaky behaviour aroused our suspicion. Unprecedented. Unprecedented. Meaning never having happened or existed in the past. Never having happened or existed in the past. Crime has increased on an unprecedented scale. Crime has increased on an unprecedented scale. Fallacy. Fallacy. Meaning an idea that a lot of people think is true but is in fact false. An idea that a lot of people think is true but is in fact false. It's a fallacy to suppose that wealth brings happiness. It's a fallacy to suppose that wealth brings happiness. Misconception. Misconception. Meaning an idea that is wrong because it has been based on a failure to understand a situation. An idea that is wrong because it has been based on a failure to understand a situation. There is a popular misconception that too much exercise is bad for you. There is a popular misconception that too much exercise is bad for you. Conscientious. Conscientious. meaning putting a lot of effort into your work. Putting a lot of effort into your work. She's very thorough and conscientious. She's very thorough and conscientious. Perspective. Perspective. Meaning a particular way of considering something. A particular way of considering something. Her attitude lends a fresh perspective to the subject. Her attitude lends a fresh perspective to the subject. Jargon. Jargon. Meaning special words and phrases that are used by particular groups of people, especially in their work. Special words and phrases that are used by particular groups of people, especially in their work. Can you help me translate this legal jargon into plain English? Can you help me translate this legal jargon into plain English? Notion. Notion. Meaning a belief or idea. A belief or idea. I haven't the faintest notion how to get there. I haven't the faintest notion how to get there. Premise. Premise. Meaning an idea or theory on which a statement or action is based. An idea or theory on which a statement or action is based. The basic premise is that they think they know better than anyone else. The basic premise is that they think they know better than anyone else. Scrutiny. Scrutiny. Meaning the careful and detailed examination of something in order to get information about it. The careful and detailed examination of something in order to get information about it. His argument simply doesn't stand up to close scrutiny. His argument simply doesn't stand up to close scrutiny. Confrontational. Confrontational. Meaning behaving in an angry or unfriendly way that is likely to cause an argument. Behaving in an angry or unfriendly way that is likely to cause an argument. Some are worried that her confrontational style will upset her staff. Some are worried that her confrontational style will upset her staff. Accessible. Accessible. Meaning able to be reached or easily obtained. Able to be reached or easily obtained. The beach should be accessible to everyone. The beach should be accessible to everyone. Dispel. Dispel. Meaning to remove fears, doubts, and false ideas, usually by proving them wrong or unnecessary. To remove fears, doubts, and false ideas, usually by proving them wrong or unnecessary. The government has moved to dispel the rumours. The government has moved to dispel the rumours. Intimidating. Intimidating, meaning making you feel frightened or nervous. Making you feel frightened or nervous. She can be very intimidating when she's angry. She can be very intimidating when she's angry. Sufficient, sufficient, meaning enough for a particular purpose. Enough for a particular purpose. We need sufficient time to deal with the problem. We need sufficient time to deal with the problem. Detrimental, detrimental, meaning causing harm or damage. Causing harm or damage. Their decision could be detrimental to the future of the company. Their decision could be detrimental to the future of the company. Tireless, tireless, meaning working energetically and continuously. Working energetically and continuously. She has been a tireless peace activist for many years. She has been a tireless peace activist for many years. Bias, bias, meaning the action of supporting or opposing a particular person or thing in an unfair way because of allowing personal opinions to influence your judgment. The action of supporting or opposing a particular person or thing in an unfair way because of allowing personal opinions to influence your judgment. Journalists must be impartial and not show political bias. Journalists must be impartial and not show political bias. Reinforcement, reinforcement, meaning the act of making something stronger. The act of making something stronger. The bridge needs some structural reinforcement. The bridge needs some structural reinforcement. Erode, erode, meaning to slowly reduce or destroy something. To slowly reduce or destroy something. High interest rates can gradually erode profit margins. High interest rates can gradually erode profit margins. Permeate, permeate, meaning to spread through something and be present in every part of it. To spread through something and be present in every part of it. Eventually, the water will permeate through the surrounding concrete. Eventually, the water will permeate through the surrounding concrete. Mundane, mundane, meaning very ordinary and therefore not interesting. Very ordinary and therefore not interesting. I lead a pretty mundane life. Nothing interesting ever happens to me. I lead a pretty mundane life. Nothing interesting ever happens to me. Viable, viable, meaning able to work as intended or able to succeed, able to work as intended or able to succeed. The factory is no longer economically viable. The factory is no longer economically viable. Initiative. Initiative. Meaning, a new plan or process to achieve something or solve a problem. A new plan or process to achieve something or solve a problem. The peace initiative was welcomed by both sides. The peace initiative was welcomed by both sides. Stifle. Stifle. Meaning, to prevent something from happening, being expressed or continued. To prevent something from happening, being expressed or continuing. I don't know how I managed to stifle my anger. I don't know how I managed to stifle my anger. Impetus. Impetus. Meaning, something that encourages a particular activity or makes that activity more energetic or effective. Something that encourages a particular activity or makes that activity more energetic or effective. The discovery gave fresh impetus to the research. The discovery gave fresh impetus to the research. Unfold. Unfold. Meaning, if a situation or story unfolds, it develops or becomes clear to other people. If a situation or story unfolds, it develops or becomes clear to other people. The audience watched the story unfold before their eyes. The audience watched the story unfold before their eyes. Kudos. Kudos. Meaning, the public admiration that a person receives as a result of a particular achievement or position in society. The public admiration that a person receives as a result of a particular achievement or position in society. Employees enjoy the kudos that the job brings as much as the financial rewards. Employees enjoy the kudos that the job brings as much as the financial rewards. Tangible. Tangible. Meaning, real and not imaginary, able to be shown, touched, or experienced. Real and not imaginary, able to be shown, touched, or experienced. We cannot accept his findings without tangible evidence. We cannot accept his findings without tangible evidence. Speculation. Speculation. Meaning, the activity of guessing possible answers to a question without having enough information to be certain. The activity of guessing possible answers to a question without having enough information to be certain. His private life is the subject of much speculation. His private life is the subject of much speculation. Ambience. Ambience. Meaning, the character of a place or the quality it seems to have. The character of a place or the quality it seems to have. The little beach hotel has a pleasant ambience. The little beach hotel has a pleasant ambience. Intricate. Intricate. Meaning, having a lot of small parts that are arranged in a complicated or delicate way. Having a lot of small parts that are arranged in a complicated or delicate way. The watch mechanism is extremely intricate and very difficult to repair. The watch mechanism is extremely intricate and very difficult to repair. Daunting. Daunting. Meaning, making you feel slightly frightened or worried about your ability to achieve something. Making you feel slightly frightened or worried about your ability to achieve something. Starting a new job can be a daunting prospect. Starting a new job can be a daunting prospect. Quirky. Quirky. Meaning, unusual in an attractive and interesting way. Unusual in an attractive and interesting way. I like his quirky sense of humour. I like his quirky sense of humour. Perceptive. Perceptive. Meaning, very good at noticing and understanding things that many people do not notice. Very good at noticing and understanding things that many people do not notice. It was very perceptive of you to notice that. It was very perceptive of you to notice that. Foresight. Foresight. Meaning, the ability to judge correctly what is going to happen in the future and plan your actions based on this knowledge. The ability to judge correctly what is going to happen in the future and plan your actions based on this knowledge. They had the foresight to invest in new technology. They had the foresight to invest in new technology. Relish. Relish. Meaning, to like or enjoy something. To like or enjoy something. I don't relish the thought of you walking home alone. I don't relish the thought of you walking home alone. Privileged. Privileged. Meaning, having special rights, advantages, or immunities. Having special rights, advantages, or immunities. As an ambassador, she enjoys a very privileged status. As an ambassador, she enjoys a very privileged status.